Let's take a moment now to turn within, in that little space deep inside where God can most easily find you. For meditation today, I'm going to use the lyrics of a song that has been running through my mind all week, and I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to say it. Settle in. From a distance, Lord, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, God, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to flight. From a distance, divine Creator, there is harmony. And it echoes through the land. It is the voice of hope. It is the voice of peace. It is the voice of everyone. From a distance, we all have enough, and no one is in need. And there are no guns, no bombs, and no disease. No hungry mouths to feed. From a distance, we are instruments marching in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They're the songs of everyone. Let's take these words into the silence for a couple of moments and just listen. Father, Mother, keep us close to you for another minute or two. Keep us close to the knowledge that whenever we turn inside, we find answers. We find you. We find that we too are divine, and that we are your eyes and ears and hands in this world. We'll take another minute. When you feel ready, gently bring yourself back to this time and place. Open your eyes, stretch a little bit, move around. Before I start, I want to mention that a very, very important person had a birthday this week. Now, we know someone important has a birthday tomorrow. It's celebrated tomorrow. But Travis' little boy, Theo, turned a year old this week. And without even asking him, after church, he will show you multiple pictures. Happy birthday to Theo. You know, I love being with you. You guys know that. Whether I'm up here, whether I'm sitting with you, or whether I'm scarfing down cookies in the Friendship Hall, excuse me. But as I do these things, and as I enjoy those moments with you, I have found recently that something has changed, that I have changed. I am aware now that no matter what I say or do, here or anywhere else, there's a certain weight that I carry as a minister. It is a responsibility that I don't take lightly. I thought it would just be a continuation of who I am and what I am, and it is, but I find that it's more than that. The vow that I wrote and then proclaimed at my ordination is, in essence, my solemn promise to see God's love, to see divinity in every person and in every situation. As a minister, I am called to preach that, to model that, and to be that. Recently, though, in light of what is happening in our country and the world, I have become filled with doubt, and worse yet, with anger, with judgment. Every time I took pen to paper to write this message this week, those feelings rose up, demanding my attention. I could not feel my true north, that there is love in everyone and in every situation. I'm well aware that Spirit sees it that way. I just doubt that I do. I pray, I journal. I surround myself with the wise words of many spiritual writers and speakers from a wide variety of faith traditions as I have been trained. And yet I doubt that there is divinity in all things and all people. And yet I am angry, and yet I judge. Truly, I am a coward. When I stand here, I try to say what I think you want to hear. I like to think of this beautiful sanctuary as a haven where we can all get away from it all. But that is not what I'm called to do. That is not what any minister of any faith is called to do. We are called, as Jesus was, to be messengers of truth. At 4 o'clock this morning, I realized that the reason I've rewritten and rewritten my message all week long was that I was trying to skirt the truth, because the truth is not pretty. It is not easy. I prefer to talk about beauty and peace and love. But can we fiddle while Rome burns? In the face of the suffering, the rampant injustice, the worship of power, money, and hate that is the truth of where we are in this country at this time, why do we, all of us, gather here on Sundays? I believe it is so that we can remember who we are, to center ourselves in compassion and kindness and love. Thank you. So that we can take those gifts out into the world and share them. That is why we're here, I think. Do you agree? Yes. This morning, I thought of your faces and what I know of your individual lives, the ups and downs that we have all been through in our lives. And I remembered then that this place and each of us helps me to center myself in love. Why? Because you are the face of God. And when I forget that I also am, I look at you and I can go forward. So I thank you. Joe is going to give each of you an envelope that I would like you to hold but not open at the time, please. And he will be ably assisted by Butch. Sarah, in a moment, will you be able to put my thing up? I didn't find the thing in the under here. I don't need it yet, but does everybody have an envelope? Oh, Jim needs one. Make sure you have one too, Butch and Joe. Thank you for doing that. I'm going to show you a piece of art in just a moment that I'm going to explain to you. But first I want to say today's message was inspired by the quote that I'm going to share with you by Hafez. I'm going to read it first, and then Sarah is going to put it up on the screen for us. The small man builds cages for everyone he knows, while the sage, who has to duck her head when the moon is low, keeps dropping keys all night long for the beautiful, rowdy prisoners. Okay, Sarah. This image was created by artist Susan Faye Carr, and you can get it on Etsy. I have a copy of it hanging on the wall in my study, and I gave a copy of it to a number of my fellow seminarians at the end of our seminary. There are many messages within these two simple sentences. Let's look first at the concept of the small man and the cages he builds. I have a story for you about that. That's going to be up throughout the talk, so you can always look at it. There was once a man who had great power, but he also had a very fragile ego.
Sorry.
Under his direction, terrible injustices were perpetrated upon innocent people. A small man in intellect, a very fearful man, he saw threats to his power from all sides. What he feared most was the realization of his own insignificance. The man's name, of course, was Herod. In the book of Matthew, we see him ordering the murder of all male babies under the age of 2 in the vicinity of Bethlehem because he felt so very threatened by a toddler named Jesus. Luckily, Jesus himself was safe as an angel led his family to Egypt, where they lived in safety for several years, even though they were probably illegal immigrants. Herod's cage was the one within his own heart. He was the ultimate prisoner, tortured day and night by possible threats to his power. He also imprisoned or killed many others during his reign, trying to prove to himself that he was in control, that he was the boss. We are small when we seek to control people, when we fear other people, when we divide people, issues, circumstances into good or bad, when we doubt that things will ever get better, when what we want matters more than what others need or want. When we are threatened by people who are different than us, when we see the world through a lens of power or scarcity or fear, when we label others, when we limit others, most of all, when we lock ourselves up and limit ourselves. And what about that sage who drops keys all night long for the beautiful, rowdy prisoners? A sage, of course, is a person of great wisdom, and for our purposes, we will call that person God. I find it interesting that the sage dropped keys all around rather than simply unlocking the cage as him or herself. Don't you find that interesting? Yeah. We have a God who gives us free will. This is how spirit works. We may be locked into a prison of our own making, as I have been lately. I was seeing only the darkness, not the light. That's what imprisoned me. My own thoughts imprisoned me. And I needed to find the key to freedom within my own heart and mind. I wondered why Hafez referred to the occupants of the cages as rowdy prisoners. And then I got it. I thought, we are rowdy. We spend so much time reaching out between the bars, demanding freedom, demanding peace, demanding somebody to help us. Yet we fail to find it within, which is where it is. When we are able to see the divine in all things and all creatures, starting with ourselves, we have found the key that unlocks all perceived limitations. And we've talked about this a lot in Unity. The limitations are only within. And this is what finally opened my heart, what I finally opened my heart to early this morning, what I just said. We pray to God to fix things. Please help me feel better. Please let me get that job that I want. And yet we in Unity know that there's a better prayer along the lines of, help me find the light. Help me recall that I am the light and that the answers are already mine. When I am in alignment with the divinity that lives in my heart, I know these things. And so then I can say, guide me to where you need me, God. Guide me to your hands, your feet, and your eyes in this world. You'll notice that Hafez also refers to the prisoners as beautiful, the beautiful, rowdy prisoners. That makes sense to me because in the eyes of God, we are exactly that. We are beautiful through and through. Even Herod was beautiful through and through in God's eyes. It is we who refuse to accept that we are beings of love. We cover our eyes, shielding ourselves from the truth, which is that we are called, as Jesus said, to do this and greater things, to do great things. We can also, as Mother Teresa said, do small things with great love. All we need is to recognize and honor our birthright. I've thought lately about the concept of we the people. Might our cages and keys metaphor apply there too? I'm going to say that it does. The preamble of the United States Constitution was designed to proclaim that the power of this country, formed as the United States, emanated from the people, resided with the people, not the individual states or a ruling class. And despite evidence to the contrary, we the people still are the strength, still the heart, still the solemn promise of this nation. I've had days when I believe that I'm just a little cog in the wheel and I can do nothing. That's not true, and I defy any of you who think that's true to look again. There's plenty we can do, even especially if all we do is pray, and I'll get to that in a minute. We the people is not a passive position. We cannot assume that someone else is going to step in and challenge those who are power-hungry, unfair, or misguided. None of us can do that, can do it all, but all of us can do something. In unity, there is strength, whether you look at that as a small u or a capital U for unity. Speaking of which, our beloved unity is based on the power of prayer. The Fillmores knew this. We know this. Our prayers are powerful, and they are absolutely essential to help heal the grievous wounds being inflicted at this moment by ignorance, unchecked power, and blunt force used against our people, we the people. If it's used against one of us, it's used against all of us. Granted, those words, we the people, have been used and misused by many people and many groups and many individuals out throughout the years. And the Constitution itself, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, both the spirit and the law of these documents has been knocked around and beaten up over the years, a lot. I don't say this lightly. Whether our union can survive the latest attacks on democracy remains to be seen. Does that sound dramatic? Well, guess what? It is. We are, I believe, at a critical testing point in our history. How will we meet it? No matter how much or how little each of us is impacted right now, no matter how we feel about our country's leadership, no matter which aspects of the current situation we agree or disagree with, does not matter. Because we have, as a church community, embraced a vision, if you'll recall. You'll be saying it again soon. It's our own declaration of intent for we, the people. That vision, that declaration is, as you know, we envision a world living in harmony and embracing infinite divine potential. If that is indeed who we are, if that is indeed what we stand for and yearn to bring into fruition in the world, then we must not turn away from what is happening in our country, our state, and our neighborhoods, and we must consider how we can create harmony or foster harmony, how we might nurture infinite divine potential, not just in our own hearts or here in the sanctuary, but in our country, our state, and our neighborhoods. So how do we stay centered in love in the presence of injustice? At a time when civil rights are being stripped away, when democracy itself is slipping away, when the love of power continues to overcome the power of love, how do we get through this? What is on the other side? I think our cage and key metaphor can help us here. We can look at our Constitution and the Bill of Rights as a container, a precious container that holds all that we hold dear. A cage can imprison people, but it can also act as a safe, a place to keep those precious valuables and values tucked away, right? And yet, if the precepts on which this country was founded aren't being upheld, what good are those documents? Do they simply stay safe and protected in their hermetically sealed shrines, in their cage? While many people are not safe, not protected, and in many cases, people are literally in cages right now. In the last few months, I've been moaning about the absence of heroes in this time of need. Where, I keep asking. I keep asking all that's holy, where are our heroes? We used to have heroes. I have come to the conclusion that the time in which we live today is calling for a different, new form of heroism. This is a day in which the only hope is we the people. We the people can be looked to for leadership if we want to be the heroes we seek. It will take all of us to turn back the tide towards justice. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. The tiniest effort we make, just coming to church, is an effort. That bends that arc just a little bit. When we reach out to others in love, when we donate to causes or candidates or that seek justice, when we are kind to strangers, when we vote, and above all, when we pray, we the people can change the world if we're ready to. You may open your envelopes now and hold what's in there in your hand, please. Is everybody ready? Okay. We need to pick up our keys. My husband made this key. We need to pick up our keys. Hold them in your hand, please. Just hold them. We need to pick up our keys, unlock our hearts, unlock the shrine, release the values of justice and mercy and fairness, and live them, share them. Stand side by side with those we love, and especially stand side by side with those we don't love. This is not a political issue. This is a Jesus issue. This is a love issue. We need to stand up for justice, fairness, and diversity. Let's hold your key right now and take just a moment of silence right now to ask, what action, what tiny step might the Creator be urging me to take today? What is God whispering in my heart today? Okay, let's come back. Speaking of heroes, which I can hardly speak about this one. This weekend, we celebrate the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr., who, along with my mother, remains my chief model of all the things that Jesus preached: love, compassion, forgiveness, and a thirst for justice. I was speaking with Rick Schumacher recently, and I said, I don't know why. Ever since Martin died, the mere thought of him makes me cry. I read every word that's been written by him and about him. I think the reason was that I knew then that the work was not done and that all of us need to be part of it. And I think I feel tender about it because I just don't understand how he could give all that he gave. I read his wife Coretta's biography, and in it she says that for the last number of years of his life, they discussed the fact that he was going to die. I mean, I can see if you have a serious illness, you might be talking to your spouse about that, but he said, I'm not going to live to see the children grow up, and still he went. We're not being asked to do all that. We're being asked to just do what we can. It isn't hard to see how the metaphor of the cage and the key can be applied to Martin's life. To name just a few, he, along with all of our black brothers and sisters, was in a cage, the cage of this country's generations of injustice and intolerance. The white people in power were determined to keep them there. But they were in a cage too. They were in a cage of fear of change, an unwillingness to love their neighbors, and to share power with all of we the people. Martin, above all, was a man who scattered keys all over the place. He gave black people, and in so doing all of us, keys to freedom, keys of love, determination, and prayer. Above all, he was a man of prayer. If you read nothing but his prayers, you will be transformed. All he talked about was prayer and love. In closing, let's hold up our keys. We don't have to be Jesus or my hero Martin, especially since those roles have already been taken. We don't need to be heroes with a capital H. We just need to pay attention. Recognize that you, every one of you, is unlimited. Your voice is enough. Your prayers are enough. Your tiniest little actions are enough. Divinity resides in every one of you, and I see it shining out right now. Say a word here and there. Stand up for someone who's being unjustly maligned. donate to causes that support love and compassion and justice, and then drop keys all night long for the beautiful rowdy prisoners. They are confined where you once lived. I leave you with these words written by Becca Good, the widow of Renee Nicole Good, who was shot and killed on January 7th. Renee was a Christian who knew that all religions teach the same essential truth. We are here to love each other, care for each other, and keep each other safe and whole. My darling friends, it is as simple and as difficult as that. And so it is. Amen.